in overwhelming happiness when Jack returned. There are reunions that are not just about two people meeting again. It is not just a glance hug or a simple greeting. It is years of emotions, bottled up and now bursting free in a single moment. Jack stood there, cast a soft glow over his tall frame. His eyes still deep and piercing, as before now held something more. Taejong froze her hand, trembling slightly as she gripped the basket of fruit, her breath catching in her throat. Her eyes widened, her heart pounding wildly against her chest. For years she had told herself to move on, to let go of the past, but in this very moment, as she saw Jack standing there, the line between past and present blurred. A flood of emotions, familiar yet distant, a painful yet joyful, rushed through her all at once. She had imagined this moment countless times, a reunion after years of separation, an unexpected encounter in a crowded place, or a letter sent from afar. She had thought that if she ever saw him again, she would be indifferent, imposed, perhaps even distant. She had rehearsed it in her mind, how she would look at him with calm detachment and ask, "How have you been?" But now all of those imagined scenarios meant nothing, because Jack was really here in the flesh, standing right before her. The world seemed to fade away. A gentle breeze stirred, lifting a few strands of her hair. But she did not feel the chill, because another fire had ignited within her, the fire of emotions that had never truly been extinguished. The world around her seemed to blur. The sounds of the bustling evening market, the rustling of leaves, the whispering wind sweeping across the wheat fields, all of it faded into the distance. There was only Jack, his eyes filled with longing, his expression weary yet unwavering. His steps hesitated for a brief moment, but then without warning, he strode toward her with urgency. There was something desperate in his every movement, like if he hesitated even a second longer, she would disappear into thin air. Taecheon remained frozen, her feet seemingly rooted to the ground. In that moment she didn't know what to do, whether to run into his arms or turn away, as if he were a stranger. But before she could decide, Jack spoke her name, a sound both trembling and resolute. Taecheon, his voice was hoarse, as though saying just one more word would cause all his emotions to break free. Just a name, yet within it carried so much longing, regret, pain and hope. And in that very moment she knew this was not a dream. There are moments in life that no one can truly prepare for. They arrive unexpectedly, sweeping away all logic, and leaving only the rawest emotions: joy, disbelief, tears that cannot be held back. Jack didn't wait, he rushed forward, pulling Taecheon into his arms as if had he been a second too late, she would have vanished into thin air. His breath was unsteady, his heart pounding so fiercely that she could feel its rhythm through the thin fabric of his shirt. His embrace was more than just a reunion, it was years of longing, regret and silent torment, all crashing down in this one moment. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I won't leave you again." She had waited too long to hear these words. There was a time when she thought she never would. They were not elaborate, not poetic, but they were enough to bring tears streaming down her face. Taecheon didn't respond. She simply stood in his embrace, absorbing the pain, the sorrow and the yearning she had buried deep within her for so many years. Yet above all the emotions that overwhelmed her, there was one thing clearer than anything else: happiness, the pure, undeniable joy of seeing him again. Jack slowly loosened his embrace, lowering his gaze to meet hers, his eyes full of concern. "Are you okay?" Teacher, unblinked care still clinging to the edges of her lace. But instead of answering immediately, She smiled, a smile radiant yet tearful. "You're really back." She reached out, her fingertips trembling as they brushed against his face, tracing the sharper angles and the faint exhaustion. Beneath his eyes there was a fleeting hesitation, as if she feared that the moment she touched him, he would disappear. But the warmth of his skin, the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, they were real. Jack didn't say much. He simply took her hand in his and squeezed it gently. "I'm back." 3 simple words, yet they carried the weight of 1,000 and said sentences in that moment. All the time apart, the endless nights of longing, the unanswered questions, they no longer mattered. Only the present did. Only the fact that they were here together at last. That evening everything around Tien felt softer. The breeze from the fields blew more gently. The moon shone brighter. Even the dim kitchen lights flickered more warmly than usual. It wasn't that anything had changed, just that her heart had, because he was here. She sat quietly on the doorstep, watching Jack awkwardly build a fire to roast sweet potatoes. He was just as he used to be. A little clumsy in the kitchen, yet always pretending to be an expert. The flickering flames reflected in his eyes, making them look as deep as the midnight sky above. "Do you still remember how to do it?" she asked, a teasing smile forming on her lips. Jack chuckled, his eyes gleaming under the firelight. "I remember everything. Even how you like the burnt edges the most." Tien laughed softly, a light and Burton laugh, as if something invisible had finally been lifted from her heart. She didn't need grand promises. Just those simple words were enough. Because they meant that he remembered, that nothing between them had ever truly been lost. After their simple meal, they sat on the wooden steps outside, gazing at the night sky in comfortable silence. There was no need for words. Silence was no longer a distance between them, but a quiet understanding. Jack gently pulled her close, his embrace steady, as if shielding her from every storm life had to offer. His warmth spread through her, chasing away the lingering chill of the night. "Are you still angry with me?" Jack asked, his voice low and soft. Tien didn't answer immediately. She rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. A long moment passed before she whispered, "I'm just afraid you'll leave again." Jack tightened his hold on her and whispered against her hair, "I won't, I'll stay always." Under the starlit sky, in the arms of the man she had always loved, Tien finally closed her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt at peace in that night. Beneath the gentle glow of the moon, Jack and Tien found each other again, as if they had never been apart. Night had fallen, and the world outside was slowly sinking into silence. The only sounds left were the whispering wind, weaving through the trees on the porch, and the occasional chirping of crickets. In the deep night, the golden moonlight spilled through the window, casting a delicate glow over the room, making everything feel serene. Jack pulled Tien into his arms, letting her rest her head against his chest. His heartbeat was steady and slow, bringing her an unfamiliar sense of security. For the first time in years, she no longer felt the need to be strong, no longer had to hide the pain she had carried for so long. Just leaning against him like this, all the weariness melted away. His warmth surrounded her, as if he were trying to make up for all the lost time. All the days they had spent apart. Their breaths intertwined, creating a quiet rhythmic harmony. Jack lowered his head and pressed a gentle kiss onto her hair. His deep, soothing voice broke the stillness of the night. "Are you still angry with me?" Tien didn't answer right away. She closed her eyes, letting herself be completely immersed in this moment. It wasn't that she didn't have an answer, it was just that she wanted to hold on to this rare peace a little longer. After a while, she whispered, her voice so soft that had they not been so close, he might not have heard it. I'm not angry, I'm just afraid that you'll leave again. Jack froze for a brief second, before tightening his arms around her, as if he could chase away her fears with his embrace. I won't, I'll stay always. Tien bit her lip, her eyes glistening with inch tears. His promise might not be eternal, but in this moment she wanted to believe him. Not because she was naive, nor because she forgave him too easily, but because her heart was exhausted from doubts and uncertainty. She chose to trust the warmth of his touch, the sincerity in his voice, the steady strong beats of his heart, each one a silent reassurance that he was still here, right beside her slowly. She reached up, her fingertips brushing against Jack's face, tracing the familiar features she had etched into her memory over the years. His eyes, once filled with youthful carefreeness, now held the weight of time. Yet within them, she saw quiet determination that made her feel safe. Do you regret coming back? She asked, her voice as light as a breath. Jack smiled, his gaze filled with tenderness. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. And with that there was nothing left to say. In the stillness of the night, he simply held her tighter, as if silently vowing that no matter what happened, he would never let her be alone again. That night, for the first time in a long while, Tien slept soundly in the arms of the man she loved. No restless dreams. No lingering nightmares from the past. Only peace, the kind she had longed for all these years. And happiness wasn't just because Jack had returned. It was because after everything their love had endured, it had survived the distance, the heartbreak, and the years apart. And in the end, that was what truly mattered. There are reunions that are more than just meeting again. They are a form of healing, a response to the longing that has lingered for years. Tien and Jack had spent years lost in separation, bearing wounds that once seemed impossible to mend. But no matter how much time had passed, or how far apart they had been, true love always finds its way back. In the end, it is not grand promises or eloquent words that matter most. It is simply being there for each other. Just having the one you love by your side, holding hands through the ordinary days, is already a kind of happiness. Because peace sometimes is nothing more than resting your head on a familiar shoulder, listening to the quiet rhythm of a heartbeat in the stillness of the night, and knowing that when morning comes, they will still be there. Thank you for watching today's story. If you also believe that true love will always find its way back, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next story.